Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
The shooter at the Iowa high school that killed a 6th grader, injured 5 people, and then killed themselves was transgender. Why did they do what they did? Well, clearly there's a mental health issue here as well. And it doesn't seem like the media really wants to cover that angle. A lot of what you're hearing on this is that the kid was bullied. And they're telling you that the kid was bullied, and because he was bullied, maybe that's why he did this. Well, maybe he was bullied because he has a mental health issue. I don't know the answer to that, but I would expect the gender identity delusion to be downplayed, and the idea that Republicans are pouncing on this to become a media narrative, because it's kind of what we saw with Nashville. They didn't want to tell us what was going on there, and I think we're going to see the same thing here.
Number 6.
U.S. Representative Mike Rogers, SmackDown for Sacktown, wanted to choke Matt Gaetz out. Remember that? That was awesome. Well, he's had enough of the United Nations pretending they care about an Alabama inmate set to be killed by nitrogen hypoxia. And, you know, I pointed this out the other day. This is kind of a silly thing for them to be hung up about because, you know, they support Hamas. They've done that materially and financially and, you know, just with their sentiments. Well, Rogers tweeted this: China unjustly executes thousands per year, including nonviolent offenders, all while committing genocide. So naturally, the UN Human Rights Council is focusing their efforts on stopping a humane method of execution on a convicted murderer in Alabama. End quote. Great point by him. Also, I want to point out that Switzerland has pods that do the same thing. They're about to roll those out. I haven't heard a word about that.
Number 5.
Charges for a police officer in Decatur are expected anytime now, and the charge will reportedly be murder for the September 29th killing of Steve Perkins outside his home. The case has led to months of protests, memorial silliness at the Decatur City Hall, threats both to myself and the mayor and everyone else, and it has been a general disaster. The mayor and the city have handled this in the worst way possible. Police were alerted to Perkins threatening a tow truck driver with a gun and returned to the scene with the tow truck driver when Perkins allegedly exited his home with a firearm again and was shot by the police. That is the undisputed depiction of what went down there. The question is, was he a threat to officers when he was killed? That is what all of this will hang on. I've heard the murder charge is a bit much.
Number 4.
Alabama Democrats are publicly pushing back against school choice in Alabama. Not much of a surprise. And are now calling education savings accounts vouchers. Yeah, I mean, look, I will tell you this right now. I actually kind of like that framing. They basically are vouchers. Okay, fine, yes. Education savings accounts are vouchers. I support vouchers, therefore I support education savings accounts. That's what's being talked about. So good. Now, you feel for Alabama Democrats because they are beholden to teachers' unions that view options and competition as the worst thing that could ever happen because they know that many parents will choose something else. You'll hear about the defunding of public education and all these other things. What you will not hear about is how great the Alabama Education Association's members are doing at educating children. Might want to start making that argument.
Number 3.
President Joe Biden's entire re-election campaign appears to be set on 2 things: dementia and demonization. And we all know about the dementia side of this. That's going to play a role. But the White House is telegraphing that a lot of demonization is on the menu for a speech Biden will read in Pennsylvania today, with a heavy dose of January 6th talk and talks about fears for our, quote, democracy, end quote. Now, of course, we are a representative republic, and all of this democracy talk is taking place as his allies try to disqualify his main opponent. So take that with a hefty grain of salt. and know that this is all they have. They cannot make the argument we're doing great on the border or with the economy, so it's the other guy's bad. You're bad.
Number 2.
On one of those issues, Alabama's delegation is hitting Joe Biden pretty hard. That's immigration. The U.S. Representative Robert Adderholt, Republican out of Haleyville, declaring it is time to reinstate President Trump's Remain in Mexico policy immediately. And that Trump-era policies are needed as the record-breaking numbers are only going up, with 2020 seeing 405,036 apprehensions, and 2023 seeing 3,201,144 apprehensions. Quick math there places that at about 7.5%. 7.5 times. Maybe I should have slower math. The numbers now. They'll claim those are successes, that they're catching all these people. No. That just means more people are getting away. And then they let some of those people go in the process as well. Tommy Tuberville, Republican out of Auburn, United States Senator, slamming Democrats as well, saying they don't really care. They just want to look like they care. And that's true.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
And to further highlight how unserious Democrats are about this issue, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who has been impeached, is now claiming that climate change is driving our illegal immigration problem. Yes, that's right. He is heading towards impeachment, and he believes that the issue is climate change. So no wonder they can't fix the damn issue. They can't even talk about what the actual issue is. This was in response to a question, a softball question from MSNBC that asked this. This was the question that was asked. Border Patrol in the month of December processed more migrants entering the United States illegally than any month in the history of that agency. Why is that happening? And his response was climate change. Yeah, that's right. Climate change. There's the real issue. And you know what's funny about this? Is that's not the dumbest thing he said. I mean, it was dumb, but it wasn't the dumbest thing he said while doing television interviews yesterday. He was on with Brett Baer on Fox News, and he was asked, hey, if they send you a bill that says, hey, you can have all this money, but you need to, stop people at the border, turn people back, deport people, actual border enforcement, things that will actually impact the border. Would you support that? And he said no. That right there shows you how unserious Democrats, this administration, the media, but again, I repeat myself, how unserious these individuals are about this particular issue. It's very unfortunate, but that is the reality in which we live in right now. And right now, your opportunity to get involved. Let's hear it. Elk River Trading Company phone lines, 866-494-WVNN. You can jump in right there. ScoutPestControl.com, WVNN. Hot Take text line at 925-494-WVNN. And you can also email us, Dale at WVNN.com. That's the Downtown Rescue Mission.org email inbox. Get those questions of the day in, too. Don't forget about that. 10 with him later today. Get all those questions in. I will answer them because I have all the answers. So stay tuned for that.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.